You have another too.
Yeah, but
Alright, which one do you want? This one?
it's recording right now.
It is. Here we go.
Is it going to be at least the audio?
Yeah, the audio.
All right, well, welcome. Thank you for your patience. We did wait a few extra minutes and people show up, but still having technical difficulties with the camera. I'm the superintendent of the school district. We've been holding these forums now. This is our third panel. And an attempt and an opportunity to connect and share a little bit about what's going on in the district. Tonight we are going to focus primarily on academics and special services. So we're going to hear from both Dr. Pam Moore from the curriculum department, as well as I believe we'll hear a little bit from Laura Zielinski, Director of Special Education. At the end, I'll come back up and we can follow up with any conversation or question you may want to have. This is meant to be informal, so if you have a question while we're presenting, feel free to just raise your hand and ask away. Right? So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to Dr. Pam.
So I'm excited to be here, and one of the things about education and probably all of your jobs as well is that you have to be flexible. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they don't. We just keep on rolling with the punches, and we're going to do that this evening. So the first thing I wanted to start with is our graduation rates. Normally we hear a lot about our test scores, we hear about PARCC scores, we used to hear about NJS scores, and that's just one moment in time. So tonight we're going to try to highlight a lot of things that are going on in the district in our academics and special services areas that you might not hear about all the times. This is one of the things that I am very proud of as a district. Our graduation rate continues to rise every year. We are doing everything in our power to make sure that our students are graduating and moving on to be successful citizens once they leave here. Some of the areas that we'll also highlight tonight are crime and performing arts. We are very excited. We've been working with Geraldine Dodge Foundation for the last 5 years, and we received a grant to do a lot of training in the district for leadership, building leadership capacity. Part of that grant, we've been able to have the Film and Arts connection with the Geraldine Dodge Foundation. So we have 3 schools who have an arts integration program. So everything they do in their schools, reading, writing, math, physics, everything is related to the arts. It's not just your art class separately from your math class and from your physics class, but everything is combined together. And a lot of the projects that they work on are on their websites. Most recently, we had a live drumming demonstration where they had a person who was coming out working with students on character education, but using those giant buckets that I call them the buckets that you put sheetrock spackle in. But when we turn them upside down, they're perfect drums. So the kids made their own drums using all of that special duct tape that you can now find, not just the silver duct tape, you can get duct tape of any color. And they made their own drums. And as they're drumming, they began to talk about various character education aspects and drumming that into their arts as well. Our band has been rated 3rd place in Best Color Guards. We've won the Best Communities of Music Education for the past 5 years. We've won Best Set Design for the last 2 plays that we've done. And if you have not had an opportunity to go to one of the high school plays or even the elementary programs where they do their end of the year spring concert, they're missing a treat. We have some incredibly gifted students who sing, dance, perform, and not just in front of the camera, in front of the stage, but a lot of the students are in the background doing scenery and writing scripts and help costume design. So we're trying to help those students who are very well rounded. So we're just going to keep on talking about our educational technology and career technology education. At our high school, we have a CTE program, so our students have an opportunity not only to engage in reading and writing, but they also we have Photoshop, culinary arts, CAD 1 and 2, engineering, design, engineering, robotics. And students have an opportunity to explore these various areas. That department is under the direction of Joanne Curcio. This year, So we have devices in all three levels out that we're having technology issues tonight, because one of the things I wanted to highlight was our technology. One of the great things is these things are not happening in our school. They only seem to happen at night, so that's great. This year we expanded our devices. All students in grades 3, 4, and 5 had a Chromebook at their disposal during the day. We also have second graders. Each 2 classrooms are sharing 1 cart. Next year our goal is to continue that up to grades 6, 7, and 8. And we moved our regular laptops to 9 through 12. So we have an abundance of technology in the district, and we are expanding our STEM programs using the technology and using a lot of robotics in the district. So one of the things I wanted you to do is actually hear from a teacher who's using Google Classroom in the room.
Teacher at Barnwood Elementary School, and this is how I use Google Classroom. When I first got started using Google Classroom, I started small, not only to get used to the platform myself, but for my students as well. So I would make like beginning morning work posts, and then it kind of turned into reflection questions, discussion questions. And after I felt that they really had a good handle on what they were doing, that's when I started integrating my paper-based into digital models, so they could do exactly what they would normally do on paper, but it was more fun, engaging, and interactive for them because it wasn't just using a pencil. They were looking at the same content, but in a more fun, engaging way. So when you make an assignment, all you have to do is click this plus button and then create an announcement, so you can make a post, and then an assignment will bring up this, what you see here, where it says 19 of my students who said you completed it. And then if you want to review what they did, all you have to do as a teacher is click on the assignment yourself, and you'll see everything that your students have done. You just click on a student, and it'll bring it up for you. And it's a really easy way to see, okay, well, so they do the assignment, oh, perfect. And then you can go right back in, and you can grade them right on the side. So you don't have to worry about different platforms of grading. Everything's still staying to the one spot. You're not looking for papers, you're not taking home all these papers and worrying about, okay, well, where are we going to put these grades down? Everything's there and done, so it makes it a lot easier as a teacher. And then another fun thing is you can create kind of like groups of what you're posting. So if I'm doing morning work and we have a bunch of other things in our screen, the students can just click on morning work and they'll find exactly what it is. So this is one of the morning work sites where it also added a reflection question. So my students were able to respond to the question in a positive way. This way they're utilizing these digital tools so they can take them outside and they're learning how to speak to each other positively using things that they are using in their own life all the time. And then if you want to create another assignment, all you have to do is click the plus button, create assignment, and then you can either add videos, links to websites, and then it'll go right into your Google Drive. So if you were working on something, you're not going to have to search for it because it's going to bring it up right in your recent. And then it'll also be a search bar at the top where you can actually type in your documents name. So I'll just click on one of my SGO fluency theater. And so now my students will work on my algebraic word problems, which is also awesome because now instead of getting a quiz and having to grade it by hand, now I can just put it all into a Google form. The students answer it right there, multiple choice, just like they used to. And then the responses will be recorded on here, and I can export them into a spreadsheet. So again, seeing another step where I don't have to make all their grades in one spot, or I don't have to make a new spreadsheet because it's already there for me. And it's just awesome to see how much time it actually saves. So that's just a few of the ways that I use Google Classroom in my own room.
So the reason I stopped this here is because I wanted you to see right up top, she has a little screen called Screencastify. Google comes with all kinds of extensions that you can get for free. And this is one of the free extensions. So it's called Screencastify. You can record anything that you can see on your screen. So you're seeing that she's taking you through her computer screen, but in the meantime, she's also able to share with you and to talk to you and to walk you through each step. So if you had a student who was having difficulty with an assignment, you could create a video for the student showing them step by step how to do each part of the process, and they have that personal face, and then they can just post a comment or question back to you. So I just wanted to share a little bit about how our teachers are using Google Classroom in grades 2 through 5, 6 through 8, and also 9 through 12. I am now going to turn this over to Tamara, who's going to talk to you about our journey program.
Hi, my name is Carol, and I'm a teacher here at Millville, and I teach at Memorial Liaison, and I've been teaching here for the past 14 years. And I just wanted to introduce you a little bit to the language and what we're doing with the language program. So the program has a long tradition in Millville, mainly because many of the residents have either been first, second generation, or they have their military families where someone has served overseas. And so because of that, they're interested in culture, and they extend that to their children, and sometimes when they are children, have signed up to German. And they're then sent to grandparents, and service. And one of the things is our language advantage. Many of our students request the German language because of the advantages that it has, and I put down there that online countries with foreign investments in the United States are poor German-speaking countries. Because of this, there are many jobs available. It's also a bridge language nowadays between those students that are speaking Mandarin in China. It's one of the top languages taken. So for American students to take German and then maybe go into business, it's a bridge language that they can use with Chinese companies. So for your child, the German language program here offers 5 years, which is 5 credits with high school diploma. We offer it through the AP level, and we are currently working on a curriculum with that with the state to bring that into the programs that they want us to have and the curriculum design that they want us to utilize. So it's not just a language, it's culture, and it's community, and it's a relationship. So it's the relationship that Germany has with the United States. Myself and our camps, we make sure that we include all of those things in our classrooms so they have opportunities to see that. Along those lines, we also are offering some experiences now that children can go abroad. So we have 2 programs, one that I chaperone and host, which is every year trip where we actually take a tour of certain countries and so scavenger hunts so that the children use the language while we're abroad. And then the other program will be starting this fall, and that is a host program. So this fall, we have some students from Heidelberg, Germany, and those students will be staying here with families for approximately 10 days. And then those students will have an opportunity the following year to go to Heidelberg and experience the school in Heidelberg, and then as well as going on some trips for 3 or 4 days before coming home. Some of the opportunities children have.
Hi, I'm Laura Zielinski, Director of Special Services for Millville, and I have a brief overview of what we do in special education. So special education was mandated into existence by the federal government in 1975, and they decided to create that legislation so that states would be forced to provide education for students with disabilities. States at that time were doing the service patchwork job of providing education. Some states were actually sending students with disabilities home and saying, we can't help you. So now that special education was a law, we were mandated, every state, to provide a free and appropriate public education for those students, and to provide access to all kinds of education equitably. And I have a slide in here that talks about when we think about equity, it doesn't mean providing the same opportunities for everyone. It means providing equitable access to those opportunities. So you see the students on the left have an equal opportunity to look over the fence and view a baseball game, but it doesn't work for everyone. And in the next slide, when you provide equity, each student gets what he or she needs to access education. And in Millville, if you want to go on, we also are mandated to provide education in the least restricted environment. So the goal is always to get the education to the students in general ed if we can. And if we can't, then we try adding supports to general ed. And it's only when we decide that that's not effective for that student that we move into special education environments. So we start with resource room, which at the elementary level is a pullout for math and language arts, and it's a part-time sort of exposure to special ed. Only 30 minutes for math or 30 minutes for language arts, or both if the child needs it. When students get to middle school and high school, resource room is a replacement. So a student who is not able to be successful in general ed, language arts or math, actually gets a special ed version of that subject in resource room. If those kinds of supports are not sufficient, then we move to a self-contained environment where a student is taught in one classroom, usually by the same teacher all day long. For students who are a little more successful, they might, for high school or middle school, be in class support, where they're in a general ed classroom, but a special ed teacher is there as well to provide the support they need to be successful there. Keep going. Okay, so the programs that we have in Millville, in addition to in-class support and resource room services, are self-contained services for the following disabilities: for autism, for learning disabilities, for intellectual disabilities, for behavior disorders, and the final one, multiple disabilities. That's for students who qualify as disabled under more than one category. We do have 13 categories of disability in the state of New Jersey that includes speech, as well as all of these. Hearing impairments, visual impairments also qualify. So a couple of programs that we're really proud of. In the last few years, there has been a sort of explosion in the autism population. And at Silver Run Elementary, we have an autism inclusion program where students who are on the autism spectrum but a little higher functioning are able to be in a general ed classroom, and they get support from a shared paraprofessional, as well as a special ed teacher who comes to the classroom on a part-time basis. We found that we were able to serve a good number of students in that way. Students who are more involved autistically are served in self-contained classrooms. At the middle school, we also have an autism support program. And in the last couple of years, we started an autism support group for parents of students with autism. And we have a pretty regular attendance, about 10 to 12 families, sometimes less, sometimes 10 to 12. So the resources we have in the district, we have about 80 special education teachers, 65 paras, we have speech therapists, OT and PT are available, counseling social workers, and a full child 17 as well. Currently, we have about 21% of our students in the district eligible for special educational services. The next one. Yes.
How many, OTs are there in total?
We have 2 occupational therapists full-time, 1 physical therapist, 7 speech language pathologists.
That's the whole district, right?
And yes, in the whole district. And I think 3 counseling social workers at this point. You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions? This is Debbie Coleman, our supervisor of elementary special ed and response intervention. We'll talk about programs for helping students who have not been classified.
We call response intervention RTI. And RTI identifies students that are struggling, they're achieving below their peers, and it's often a way that students wind up in special education, but it's a chance to address their specific needs and attempt to not have to give them special services unless they really need it. One of the areas that we are now mandated to address is dyslexia. And for a long time, we didn't talk about dyslexia, we just talked about reading problems. But we're finding out more about what dyslexia really is, that it's neurological, that people who are dyslexic actually use different parts of their brain to read, and reading becomes very difficult. We sometimes see dyslexia, signs of dyslexia at a very early age, and when a child is very bright, they learn to get around reading, and they learn to memorize a lot. So sometimes that dyslexia doesn't show up until later grades. So dyslexia is actually considered a specific learning disability, and it's characterized by deficits in fluency. So a student asked to read aloud will have a difficult time. It will not sound very good. It's very challenging. Or accuracy problems. They may see a word and say it's a word that's similar in spelling, but it comes out as a different word. That will also show up in their spelling. They will have a difficult time spelling, putting words down on paper. And they may have trouble with vocabulary. So there's an International Dyslexia Association, and it says that potential reading problems can be identified in young children. It's actually a phonological problem, so even before they're able to read print, we can start to identify that they're not hearing the sounds properly. So that we can, the earlier that we can identify it, the more we can do to help address it before it becomes a true reading failure. So what do we do in Millville? We assess all students in grades K to 5, 3 times a year. In kindergarten, we use DIBELS, and in grades 1 to 5, we use what we call sweeps, and part of that sweeps is oral reading fluency, and that's what we can use to begin to identify students that may exhibit signs of dyslexia. So what do we do to help students who are experiencing problems with reading? All students in K to 2 receive foundations as part of their general ed program. We also, through the RTI program, have students who get additional foundations
We have a program online called Head Spread. Students who are struggling with reading. Another program is Read Naturally, which builds reading fluency through repeated reading. And there's a Wilson program that we have teachers who are certified in special ed. That's a very intense program. And this year we introduced a program called Mind Play. So what is Mind Play? Wilson is based on Orton Gillingham, and Mind Play is also based on that same technique of teaching reading. It's very specific, it's very phonics based, and you see the website there. The students log on, and when they start the program, they have to take a pre-test. And that pre-test identifies where there are holes in their reading skills. So we may have a 7th grader who takes the test. They will have this skills mastered, but then there's a hole. They haven't gotten this fatigue awareness piece. So the program will then create an individualized reading plan, so they will follow a sequence of lessons until they master all those holes. And that's a picture of what the program looks like. It's actually developed by a woman who's dyslexic. She developed it when her son was dyslexic. She is now in her 70s, and her goal is to keep the price reasonable enough that she can teach as many students across the United States how to read. It can even be used for adults with reading problems. It can be used for general ed. It doesn't have to be just for dyslexia. It can help any student raise their reading level.
And now we have our gifted and talented education coordinator, Colleen Blight.
My name is Colleen Blight, and I am the coordinator and teacher for Gifted and Talented for 3 schools. We have Kelly Davis here. She's at another 3 schools at the elementary level, and Lisa Gaudio, who is at the middle school level. We service approximately 300 students, and our motto, as you would say, would be rigor and STEM are the core of our program. So we focus a lot on STEM. I'm just going to go over the different types of activities that we do and the different programs that we have. So our grade 1 program, we use hands-on activities to develop high order thinking skills. So we use different games and puzzles and work with first graders, and for example, Galaxy, we work on their mathematical skills. And have really enjoyed this program, and they're always smiling in their education. So that's what we do with our first grade group. It's called PET, Primary Enrichment Program. In our second grade group, we focus on famous inventors and inventions. And the students learn about different inventors from different time periods, also from different genders and backgrounds. They create a book outlining the research, and then they apply what they know after they write their book. So, for example, our first inventor that we talked about was Ole Christensen, who invented Lego. So they wrote about him in their book, and then we had a sort of Legos, and they were able to use the Legos after they wrote their book. So we like to have them apply what they learn. This picture right up here, we talked about the inventor. We talked about the inventor of Mickey Mouse, and at the end of the year, they have a nice book that they can take home with various inventors and their inventions. And they research these inventors through the computer, through articles. One of our inventors they listened about, so they take notes and they're actively engaged learning about it. So that's our grade 2 program at that program. 3rd through 5th, that's our Gifted and Talented formal GT program.
This year, we did exploring engineering, which was a lot of fun, you guys loved it. A lot of hands-on activities. We focused on those different types of engineering, we did computer engineering, automotive engineering, aerospace, electrical, structural, and environmental. And students were able to learn about the type of engineering, and then we did projects related to those types. So for example, we learned about structural engineering, and the students created bridges. They learned all about the different types of bridges, and then they created a bridge. The students up there are working on something called snap circuits, where they learned about electrical engineering, and then they put together snap circuits and made different things happen with them. The students were able to, the students actually went to different trips that correlated with the type of engineering that we talked about. For example, this is them at the wind turbine farm. When we talked about environmental engineering, they made compost, and we made a wind turbine, and then we took them to the Atlantic County Utility Authority. Over on the other side, the students got to go to the Wheels Museum, and they learned about automotive engineering growth. And the middle picture is us at our Phillies game, and we have a little picture of our little sign up there, local festivals, kids are talented. We talked about structural engineering, we talked about the stadium, and we were able to take them to a game. And then also before the game, we had a science set. So that made it really nice. It was a nice wrap up for our structural engineering kids. So we try to make it real life for them. So when they get older, they might want to be engineers. That's our hope, that they might pick this kind of field for themselves. We've had a couple guest presenters this year. The first presenter on the end, that is our guest presenter from the Civil Air Patrol. And when we had our lessons on aerospace engineering, we learned a lot about that, and we had him come in, and he did a really neat presentation with drones and some planes. So he's been a nice resource that we have. And with that, was third through fifth. And this is our second grade presenter. As I spoke earlier, they have a book that the students have a book that they write in. And one of the inventors that they wrote about was Lewis Braille. And the students were able to feel Braille, they were able to learn about Lewis Braille, and we had the C&I Foundation come in, and the students were able to hear about what they do for the community, which was a really nice activity, so they enjoyed that too. This year, we started something new with the kindergarten group. It was our pilot program for a book club that we wanted to try out. So we had some kindergarten students that were high readers. They came in and they read higher level books. And after the books that we read, we had different conversations, we had different activities that went along with the books. So that was something that we did this year for kindergarten. And then our middle school group, they have three themes that they, or 3 grade levels, and different themes that go with that. Our 6th grade works on Middle Ages and advertising. Our 7th grade works with elections and moving on Congress for the college experience. And 8th grade works on stock market and crime scene investigation. So that's what we give them out that students do in middle school. And we have different opportunities for high school. We have mock trial, model Congress, congressional award program, and performance plus. So those are the opportunities that high school students are able to join. These are some pictures of our middle and high school students with different activities that they're doing. So it's neat to see them as first graders and then 12th graders. That's a fun thing. And then these are just some pictures of what a few things that we've done this year. We've had a really good year. We feel like we're definitely moving forward, and we really enjoy what we do. So, thank you. Any questions?
Questions, but I think they're more related to you than they are to me.
All right, before we jump into the questions, I just,
Can I just stop that?
Yeah,
I'm
Julie, go
about to
ahead.
say you goes to my
Oh,
slide.
I'm sorry,
So,
got ahead of ourselves. Go ahead.
there is so much more going on than we would ever have enough time to share with you tonight. But on May 11th at Holly Heights at, what time, 4:30, thank you. We have our student learning technology showcase for staff members from all over the district who are presenting things that are going on in their classroom. So if you are a friend of anything, we invite you to come out. And now I will turn it over to Dr. Jensen.
Oh, okay. I want to start by just thanking the staff members that came tonight. Sincerely appreciate you coming out and sharing what we have to offer. So thank you very much. The presentation hopefully shows you that, regardless of what ability level our kids are at, or regardless of if they're struggling or if they're ahead, we try to be there for them. And the adults that are here tonight are a sample of just doing an excellent job for kids. They really care about your children, and they're dedicated and very proud of them. So I appreciate that. I'll go ahead and open up questions or discussion points or something you want to know more about. And, you got the floor.
I do love and adore the Kids in Talent program. My children have always learned a great deal. My biggest concern is the workload that these ladies have. That's been continual every year. I see how much that they do. We lost on Mark last year. We lost that said a few years before that. I feel like it's a wonderful program. It's getting cut more and more. Programs were lost this year. The mock trial was smaller this year than ever before, and I think that's because, I know they took on additional responsibilities, so I do think that they have no things. Environment didn't happen this year, scholarships didn't happen this year. The testing, all those things that made our district stand above, we've been losing, and as a parent, I'm really feeling it. I see the difference between my children. I went graduate last year, and lots of things offered to her. I see less offered for my junior, and I see a whole lot offered in the future for my 7th grader.
And I share Nina's concern. As you hopefully be paying attention, there are financial constraints that hit this district, and not just this district. I would say all the districts in the state of New Jersey. I will speak first just about some of my experiences. One, we are fortunate in many ways because we do have a standalone gifted and talented program. So often throughout the state, I'm learning that they're doing what's called gifted and talented for everyone, which means they're saying that they cover gifted and talented in the regular classroom through differentiated instruction. Speak just from my own son's experience. That's what they do in his school. So I guess it's all a matter of perspective. So yes, have like all the programs in the district, have there been cuts? Yes. On the other hand, we still have a program. I believe these ladies are doing the best they can with what they have. The financial reality of the district is something that I don't have as much control over as I'd like. Each year for the last 7 years, we've got $3 billion. Karen's smiling. He's going to point out that I think that the board at one point had an opportunity to raise his taxes. I don't see that. Yeah, I mean, we've been cutting money every year. I don't see an end to it. So I'm not one that sugarcoats things, and I don't like to tell you things that I don't think are true. So I can't tell you that it's going to get better necessarily.
4 staff members for 300 students. And those 300 students, you showcase a lot with your achievements. And without those students, the students affect every other program in our district. I'm wondering, with all choice schools, how do we get our students to stay here?
It's a great question. I think that what we've done this year is study that problem, and I've talked to parents who have made other selections. Some of what we're learning is parents don't like particular schools that their kids are assigned to.
We're gonna fall like that to Danny, where their population, I was just down there a couple weeks ago for a test match. And I was listening to their coaches, and they were saying that their student population has dropped drastically because of PCIT. Well, that too, PCIT has taken a large percent of their students.
That's a real fear too. We have a full-time technical school, as you know, that is coming online.
So our plan is, I mean, we'll spend money to keep the students that we have, and that's save money.
It's $100 million budget. 75% of that, $75 million, is tied up in salaries and benefits. There's only so much money to go around. If you have suggestions or you have ideas, I would welcome sit down and come let me know what your thoughts are. Because I understand these problems. The budget is what it is. If you have ideas, let me know.
And this year, we had open house at Houston. So that's what we heard. Open house.
Sorry.
And we try to engage parents. And what we found out was that some parents thought that the child family center was a separate entity from local public schools. It was a part of. So what happened, those of you that don't know, we had during the child family center's parent-teacher conferences, we had kindergarten teachers attend the conferences. That's for elementary school numbers. And they had display boards and some had videos, and we gave out books to parents who come and learn about what happens at the elementary school and what programs we use. With a lot of excitement, we hear from a couple of parents that we're going to send their children to the charter schools. And after speaking with our staff, decided that they were going to keep them there. So that was exciting.
We made phone calls to parents when we hear that they're not choosing us. We try to make connections with them, ask them if we can get them to come out and tour the schools. Sometimes there's a perception of a particular school, maybe from when they were a child 20 years ago, and we ask them to go in and meet. I don't put Mr. Croyle on the spot, but I know anecdotally I can tell you that he helped convert a parent who was not happy about being placed at Bacon, did not want to stay in district. Vicki convinced her to go meet Mike, and Mike took her on a tour, and she's a happy camper, and she's going to stay. So we need to be the best advocate we can for the district. I believe we do have a lot to offer parents, a lot to offer the community, and it's easy sometimes to get caught up in the negative part of what's wrong and what's lacking, but we have to promote what's really good about the district.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to be negative, I was trying to be proactive instead of reactive when there are things for our students.
I wasn't necessarily speaking to you directly. I was pointing out that I think the thing that we have to do is champion what's really great about this.
One of the other things, I know that Mike Boyle at Bacon School is having a community day, and he's reaching out to family members who live within his boundary and inviting them to come out and meet the school, meet the staff. We're going to do that with the other schools too, to really reach out to the people who have chosen to leave district and promoting the things that we have great to offer. We're trying to get these exactly to level.
And they mentioned that the technical school as a competitor, as you know or may not know, I don't know, we took a very difficult position as a district, saying that our programs in Millville High School and our district are for Millville students only. What the technical school of the group wants to do is supplement their program and not pay for sports and not pay for fine and performing arts, which I know your son's also doing, and just a great position. We need to fight for our community, our school district. And some people didn't really understand the position we took to say that no, if you choose the technical school, that's your right, and we're not going to stand in your way. But we're not going to also give you what's great about Millville as part of your experience at a competitive school, because we're losing $3.8 million a year to technical students and charter students. So that's another thing that we're trying to do, be proactive in terms of keeping our kids. Other questions or any other questions or comments? I appreciate everybody taking the time to come out, no matter what your role is in the district or what brought you here, whether it was just curiosity or whatever, or the fact that you work here and you're highlighting the program. You still decided to come, and it's really, we really appreciate it. This is meant to be a conversation starter. It doesn't have to be the end of the conversation. Please feel free to stick around, make an appointment, tell me what's on your mind. I may not have the answer, and a lot of times I don't, but I'm always willing to hear other points of view and other perspectives. So I want to thank Dr. Moore, Nora, Patty, and everybody who came. So thank you guys so much for coming, and to the parents that came, thank you very much. And there's refreshments. We ask that you please take them, otherwise I can send them. Healthy for me. My wife thanks you in advance. And then there's a board meeting following tonight at 7 if you'd like to stay. Thank you very much.